Stonehenge, 3019. Another bright grey day, the sky low to the ground. The sunlight refracts through subtly designed clouds and over the stones, both the real ones and the ghosts. Usually I work in the gravity core under the visitor centre. I make sure the ghost stones appear in the right place, that they look correct from every angle. But sometimes, every now and then, I get to greet the visitors, and this morning I'm handing out the augmented reality headsets. These new models are designed to fit every kind of species, adaptable to many head shapes and skull sizes. They even fit over electric tendrils and things that don't always look like heads. We smile at everyone. Some of these visitors were born 5 light years away, yet still feel compelled to make a pilgrimage to Stonehenge. There are enough bodies through the gates to keep me and my team employed, but Stonehenge is quiet these days. It's a shame. The stones are the oldest surviving human construction on the planet now. Many of them are still the originals. A few were lost thanks to lichen collapse in the 2160s. Some were broken up during the North European Sand Wars, but there's still 2 complete trilithons, most of the Sarsens, and I think me and my crew do a pretty good job of holographically generating the rest. The trees around the site are mostly made from intelligent silicon, and the insects are nanobionic. If I'm honest, it's the birds I'm most proud of. We grow a fresh batch in a vat each year, so they change up, they have little inconsistencies. It's almost as if they might have been breeding in the wild, as if that were possible any longer. Best of all, when you wear those headsets, you get a complete tactile reconstruction of everything the stone circle ever was, fed directly to your brain with handy additional information. A voice in a language of your choosing whispers soft facts into your ear. You can touch the ghost stones, that's allowed, but a force field prevents you from getting too close to the genuine articles. The headsets are regulated by the gravity core, which is calibrated to extend back 1,000 years only, so as not to overload our visitors with the sheer scale of history. Further back than that, people stop understanding what they're seeing. They get discombobulated. Thing is, even with all this tech, we still can't work out why Stonehenge was built in the first place. History is dark. So our visitors are presented with simple options, just the history we know. As you stand before the stone circle, you can switch parts of it on and off, and the gravity core retrieves images from key dates, say 2715, when a neighbour species first saw the stones, or 2840, when the site was temporarily housed in an underwater dome, or 2065, when the robot security guards were introduced. You can watch people long dead from times long gone standing right next to you, contemplating the same mysteries as you. You can dial up the volume on their voices, languages lost for hundreds of years, crystal clear. The reconstruction is impeccable. At the end of the day, once the crowds have left, I like to sit close to the circle, put on a headset, and watch my favourite slice of the timeline from 2019. It's the furthest back you can go on the current settings. Just a quiet morning in the centre of the circle, and some young folk are documenting the stones. Fragments of conversation, strange ideas, but I like the sound of it.
That's for a UFO. That's for aliens, right there.
Maybe it's a library of secret knowledge.
If somebody was buried here, maybe these are all gravestones.
I was filming it when there was a ray of light like a laser beam.
They're dressed weirdly, they have extremely odd hair. I think I just like seeing them rush around because we don't get so many young folk up here anymore.
The birds are spying on the humans, they're working for the aliens.
The gaps between the stones are portals. If you're here at the right time, you can walk through to another dimension.
All we know is that it's about the longest day and the shortest day.
We've set the gravity core to go no further back than this morning, this small moment 1,000 years ago, but I wish I could find out what brought them here. So, in the night, quietly, I go down to the core chamber. I reset the instrument panel just a little, just a flicker in the passage of time, to see a tiny bit further back. I inform the security guards that I'm checking the headsets. It's just maintenance. They don't care anyway. They're literally robots. They can't see what I'm seeing. I wind 2019 back a few minutes. The young folk approach the stones. There's a light drizzle of what they used to call rain. They use a strange, ancient microphone to capture errant radio waves, seeing what the bluestones pick up. They look at leverets, which are the young of an extinct species called a hare, nesting at the base of a trilithon. But I learn nothing new about these hengelings. Nothing about why they came here, what it meant to them. Well, maybe that's all right. I take off the headset, I return to the gravity core chamber, I reset the limits of history at Stonehenge once more. But I make a mistake. There's something I miss. There's one tiny virtual dial that I don't return to zero. And after I've left, overnight, the core spends hours feeding on history, reconstructing older and older images from gravitational waves. It acquires everything it can, all of Stonehenge's past, thousands and thousands of years. And it waits for the site to open again in the morning. Stonehenge, 3019. A bright grey day, and quite busy by our standards. A few hundred people at the circle, voices in many languages. I settle in for a standard working pattern, but then I can tell something's wrong, just by watching the way people stand by the stones. I don't have a headset myself, so for a moment all I can say for sure is bodies are angled strangely, necks craned, looking to places we normally don't program any history ghosts. Neighbour species are laughing, pointing above the sarsens, waving at the empty air over the lintels. And then everything around, all the chatter, stops. I dash to the gate and grab a headset, and once I put it on, the landscape around and within Stonehenge
explodes with lies.
Centuries of images.
Things that have happened here.
Things that never happened here.
Ideas that happened here.
Theories and fairy tales.
People who built it.
People who broke it.
People who came to see.
everything visible all at once.
An Anglo-Saxon man loses his head and is buried in the dead centre.
The stones flicker out of existence altogether. Only a set of post holes within the ditch remain. Then
A UFO lands, and it's aliens that built Stonehenge.
which they told us they didn't actually do, but there it is in front of me, and
A portal opens, and it leads to another Stonehenge, on another world.
which definitely hasn't happened yet, but also,
People dance on the lintels over the Sarsen Circle.
and that's from the mid-20th century, which I know is history proper, and
Winston Churchill poses by the heelstone.
why is this happening? This isn't curated. This isn't official business. I run as fast as I can to the gravity core in its bunker. I frantically consult manuals and I try to work out what gives. Then I see it. A glaring error from last night. But worse still, not only has it captured all of proven history, it's also captured what was in people's minds, everything anyone who came here ever thought. It's captured imaginations and questions, theories and fairy tales, throwing fact and fiction into the timeline, and everyone's headsets are suddenly showing everything. Needless to say, my boss is furious. She tells me, this is no longer a carefully curated experience. She points out the Dayglow druidesses dancing in the circle, the grumpy wizards, the dinosaur for some reason, the executions, the rock concerts, the bouncy castle, etc. Get it back to normal, she says, and make it acceptable again, or clear your desk. As she storms out, I can hear the sound of a strange music. drifting through the air. I can't tell what time zone it comes from. It somehow calms me. The readouts in front of me dance like crazy. All of this history, all of these ideas in one tiny, tiny spot on a nondescript curve of this funny little planet. Sure, there's science and study and the things we can say for sure.
It's been here for thousands of years.
People came from miles to be here.
It was built over more than one lifetime.
It lines up to the longest day and the shortest.
These are facts, but I wonder if there's anywhere else in the universe like this, where so many people come to see something whose story is so lost, where they have so little information as to what it really, truly means. And you might call what I do next sabotage or vandalism. I mean, what's to say the headset should only show what we know? People don't have to wear them. They can just look at the naked stones if they want to, no bells or whistles. So I hack the core controls, fix them so they can't be changed back, then I clear my desk. And I go back to the stone circle to watch the chaos. Sure, people are going crazy, but only a few of them in a bad way. Most seem delighted. They dance with unseen figures, they gasp as some of the stones collapse, they watch storms lash the trilithons, they watch generations of footsteps slowly eroding the tumble-down rocks. After a while, I put on my own headset, and for a moment, among all the other ghosts, I think I can see the young folks from 2019 running around the inner circle, shouting jokes, whispering, waving microphones, making up new ideas. What I don't know, what I can't know, here and now, is that in the weeks to come, this carnival of images, both real and imagined, will bring many, many more visitors to Stonehenge. My ex-boss will keep the site open rather than lose face, and word of mouth will spread far and wide, eventually inspiring a whole new generation of hengelings. Sure, not everything they'll see in the circle is factual, real, tangible, provable. But guess what? Here under this low sky, among these quiet stones, that's always been so.